Pile one, what is the unhealthiness that you do in relationships or your unhealthy relationship pattern? For you, I'm getting that you ignore or shrink yourself for the other person. There's just this feeling of you not taking up space and not being your full self. It feels very like, even if you're confident in other areas of life, it feels very unconfident and sort of meek, and you're sort of making the other person happy and comfortable above making the relationship happy and comfortable. Like, it can't work if only one person is getting the happiness, if only one person is being attended to. And you have this full, big, beautiful self, but it just seems like you aren't bringing that to the table when you're in a relationship. You're sort of cutting yourself down and sort of so focused on the other person and so focused on making them happy and keeping them in the relationship that you don't bring your concerns to them. And I'm just really getting the idea that if the person you're with won't allow space for your feelings, if they don't care about your comfort and your desires, then they're not for you anyways. So you can have this beautiful balance of two people bringing their full selves and getting all the enjoyment out of that. I'm getting that if you brought everything that you are, and if you voiced your discomfort and you and your partner just work through that, and it will only make you guys stronger in the end. And that's how things are supposed to work. And the people who you're in relationships with should want to do that as well. So what I'm getting, the advice for you is to go inside of yourself, go internally, and build your sense of self-confidence and your self-love. Like, I'm being told to tell you to close your eyes, listen to the inner children that you have, listen to their pain and comfort them and tell them that they matter, and explore and fall in love with your deep inner self. That's the advice that you're being given to deal with this problem, because I feel like maybe you weren't allowed to be your full self in childhood, or you had to have a lot of focus on the people who were meant to be taking care of you. You sort of caretook them, and that pattern is repeating in relationships. But in reality, if you go into yourself and delve into your inner child, and everyone has so many inner children. So if you just delve around and feel what they feel and let them voice their discomfort and voice their pain and say, I wanted to matter and I wanted someone to care for me, but no one did. And that's extremely painful. And I'm still carrying that. So if you listen to them and you comfort them and you're there for them, that's the process of you falling in love with your truest self. You're letting the pain go, and you're allowing all of these inner children who couldn't be heard and cared for and seen to be heard and loved and cared for and seen by you. And when you give them that comfort, that pain is going to leave you, and this pattern is going to leave you. Because I feel like that is what is at the root of this pattern that you're falling into. And I feel like you're pretty confident and strong in other areas of life. And then as soon as you're in a relationship, it sort of reverts back to this like little kid who's unsure, who's sort of, I don't know if you had to walk on eggshells around your parents, or if they were not the best at taking care of themselves sort of emotionally. So you had to sort of emotionally regulate them when they didn't even teach you how to do that for you. Something like that happened when you were a kid. So address those little kids inside of you who didn't get the care that they needed, and who, your emotional state, your comfort, and how you feel about everything in your life matters. And it will matter to the person who is worthy of being in a relationship with you. So once you once it matters to you, and once you delve deep and dig up these inner selves and allow these children their voice, you're going to fall more in love with yourself and release that pain. And that's going to make you feel, once you bond with these children, you're able to love yourself even more, because you see where you're coming from and you see how these children were hurt. This is you, how you were hurt in your childhood. And then you will promise, the best you can, that you won't abandon these children, like sort of like your parents did, that you will attend to them. So when someone does something in a relationship that makes you uncomfortable, instead of ignoring it and allowing this to continue and just sort of keeping the peace, even though it's not peaceful because you're uncomfortable, you'll bring it up in a very loving way. This doesn't mean you have to fight. This doesn't mean there needs to be tension. It just means, it means the opposite. It means you have to voice discomfort for the discomfort to go away. And then that's a truer and deeper sense of peace than you would have had if you just ignored everything. So let's see. And once you do this inner healing and this shadow work, you really are opening yourself up to be loved and just fully accepted and fully loved and fully cared for. And you'll be able to create a safe space where you feel so incredibly comfortable saying the more negative things. And it doesn't even have to be negative. Like, you could have shrunk about things that don't even matter. If someone is like, if you're picking furniture for the house and your partner's like, do you like this couch or this couch? You'd be like, oh, it doesn't matter, when you really don't even like one of them at all and you don't want that in your house. Like things that it doesn't even make sense to really cave on. So once you bring a fuller self to a relationship, you just have so much more for your partner to love. Like, I feel like it's going to be a lot safer and a lot more comfortable than you're thinking. But the first step is to delve yourself and find these children that weren't heard or seen or cared for, and tell them that they absolutely matter. They mattered all along. And allow those parts of you to heal and move on so that this pattern doesn't have to continue. So I hope that was helpful. You truly have, I'm just really getting the feeling to reassure you that once you do this work and once you meet someone who wants your full self, like, it's not going to be as uncomfortable as you think it is. Like, if you're nervous about what I'm saying and you're like, I don't want to fight, I don't want to, it doesn't have to be a fight. It could just be a conversation. And I think you'll be surprised at how things that you made a big deal in the past with relationships are absolutely, they're just not really a big a deal as you thought. You'll just say something and your partner will be like, okay, and then you'll carry on doing exactly what you wanted to do. And I think you'll be surprised at how much deeper a sense of safety that will give you, and how not as complicated it truly is to bring your full self. And you'll be loved in a much deeper way, and it will be so incredibly healing for you. So good luck. Thank you for being here. Okay, pile 2. What is your negative relationship pattern? For you, I am just seeing like snapping and fire. Like, I feel like you are quite easily triggered and you fight and snap over everything, even when the person doesn't mean anything by it. And I'm getting that the way that you're seeing the world and the way that you're seeing people and their actions isn't really accurate. That you can see red flags and you could see someone as doing something wrong when they really aren't. So this is being super defensive, the word is really triggered. I feel like you just get triggered by so many things and you get so mad so fast, even when someone hasn't really done anything that's crazy. Like you just go from 0 to 100 when the situation doesn't really warrant that. Like maybe if something comes up that they're doing and you're like uncomfortable about it, you can say, "What are you doing?" And they're like, "Oh, sorry." And like if they're on their phone when you don't want them to be, you would assume like, "Oh my God, you're cheating on me. You're just texting other girls. You don't care." But in reality, they're like, "Oh, I just got this text from like my friend, and I'm just gonna put it away now. Sorry, I was on my phone." Like it didn't have to be a fight when you're making things into fights that don't have to be fights. And the deeper meaning behind this is that I'm just really feeling like there is like a little child inside of you that is so scared and so isolated. Like that's where this comes from. You aren't an angry person. You're not a difficult to deal with person. You might have been told this before. You're not too much. You're in pain because I'm just feeling how much emotional turmoil you have. Like you want connection so badly, but you also have been so hurt or so betrayed. It could have been a past partner, but I'm really feeling like this was when you were a kid. Like something about your parents, something that they did or maybe didn't do felt like betrayal, and you as a little kid learned that no one had your back, so you have to have your own back. And as well, because your parents is your number one connection, and the connection with them informs the connections that you have, particularly in romantic relationships, for the rest of your life until you heal it. It can always be healed, right? So when you have this deep connection with your parents when you're a little kid and they betray you, it created this dynamic in you where you have this push and pull, where you want to be so deeply and strongly connected to someone, but you learned that that wasn't safe for you. So your reaction is to have a little kid inside of you, this pain that is so scared, that's really isolated, that's reaching out for connection and getting you into relationships and getting you around people. But then there's this other side of you that's incredibly defensive and protective of this little kid. Like you protect yourself and you have your own back. That is what happened in childhood. Your closest connections weren't safe, so you had to protect yourself in some way from your parents. This doesn't have to be very literal, it could be, but you learned you had to protect yourself and that people wouldn't have your back. So you have this desire for connection, and then you lash out at the person that you're trying to connect to because you're like, I have to protect myself. I can't get betrayed again. I can't be hurt again. So I'm going to make sure that you're never going to hurt me. It's a very, very strong, powerful aspect of yourself, but it isn't, it's a part that you created to protect this very scared, isolated, and hurt little kid that you have. And I feel like this is deep shadow work that you need to do with both of these aspects. So this is something that there's a system called parts work where you would actually let these parts sort of talk to each other and speak, about each other. You can look it up online. There's tons of different ways you can do it. The one that I like is, if you go to YouTube, there's a free video. If you type in Teal Swan parts work, she will show you how the system works, and it could completely transform the way that you approach life, because this is deep-seated childhood pain that now has multiple aspects to it, mainly these two. And I just think if you do that process, it can completely change the way that you show up for yourself and completely transform the way that you show up in relationships and around other people. Because maybe you're someone who has been getting this your whole life. Like people feel like you're belligerent, you get in fights a lot, you're called dramatic and difficult and like hard to deal with. But it's really, you created this strong protector inside of you because you have a scared little kid like crying and isolated and alone inside of you, and you're protecting that person. So that's the main thing. I feel like you can show up in the world completely differently if you do this parts work. What else do I have? So once you do that, then you can and focus there, which might be, you know, a process, or it could be easy. You might be surprised at how easy you could go run through this process once and just completely like transform yourself. It's very strong. But and then you'll be able to really focus on, you'll be able to ease up because there won't be this like warrior inside of you ready to lash out and protect yourself. You realize that maybe you're a lot safer than you thought now. You're grown. You have great judgment about people, and you're not going to be around people who are going to hurt and betray you and who are dangerous to you. And then you can focus on like communicating in a healthy way to the people that you're around, instead of just assuming the worst and instead of being really like snapping at them. And you won't have to live in such a guarded way. You'll be able to fully trust and be fully open and have a partner in like a very strong, true sense. And that's going to be very healing for you. Once you do this healing work and deal with these two aspects of yourself, you'll be so much more likely to find someone that you can have a healthy connection with. And of course you go in steps, but like your last stage is being so fully open and so fully trusting someone and just merging with them so entirely that you feel just as safe with them as you do with yourself. Like you trust them with yourself. They love you. They connect to you. They care for you. They're not going to hurt you or betray you. And you have, there's the potential for an incredibly deep connection here. Because at the moment you feel like you can't trust anyone. And once you heal and you get that ability to fully trust someone who deeply loves you, and you're just, there's no guards whatsoever. You're just fully surrendered to this relationship and this person who does the same with you, and you guys care for each other. But that's where this guy, I hope, like, I'm not trying to call you out too much or anything. Like, this comes from a deep place of you learning that no one has your back, so you have to have your back. And, like, you aren't going to betray you. And you've been holding people at arm's length, trying not to get hurt. And I just feel for you a lot. And I hope this was helpful. And I think if you go through that parts work process, there's that video, she'll walk you through how to do it. I sort of wrote I've done it so many times, I've sort of written what she says down, the different steps. I watched the whole video, wrote the steps down, and then I have the 2 chairs for the 2 different aspects of myself and sort of look at the paper and go through the process. And it can really change your whole like internal world so quickly. So good luck. I wish you the best. Thank you for being here, and I hope it helped. Bye. Pile 3. What is your negative relationship pattern? So what I get for you is a refusal to partake in life and dating while being sad that it isn't happening to you. So I see you as someone who's like sitting and scrolling on their phone while other people are like having a get together and meeting up and like having fun with their friends somewhere else. And I see you in this like lethargic, sort of depressed kind of energy. And I was going to, like, I sort of felt like, as I was bringing the information through, that I should talk to you about like depression and sort of like that hopelessness and how to deal with hopelessness, which is like sort of the root of depression, is when an aspect of you believes that things are pointless, that you'll never get what you want, and just sort of sits down and like puts the brakes on your internal world and makes you depressed. So that is something that you can work with. If you want to take this feeling of hopelessness, I would suggest a video. It's Teal Swan's How to Heal the Emotional Body. If you work with hopelessness and do that process, it's a free video on YouTube. That's why I recommend it, because it's out there and it's a process you can do that helps, and it's completely free. If you do that with hopelessness, I think it could really help and transform you. However, like, your guides are really telling me that you've already done quite a lot of shadow work, and your inner world has been tended to, is what they're sort of letting me know, that you're kind of okay and you've done inner work, and now they're saying it's time to do outer work. Like, I see them just sort of trying to like get you out the door, get you to have fun. Like, that is the biggest piece of advice from your guides right now, is get out and have fun. Because I feel like you're not involving yourself, but then you're really sad that you're not involved. And it's making you more sad just like sitting and sort of doom scrolling or binge watching something. Your guides are just trying to rush you out the door. They're like, you're so good, you're so fun, you're so sweet and lovely and wonderful, and people can really enjoy you. And I feel like there is like a little, I think overall you're just a really nice, good person. But I think if you get out there and like you have fun and you laugh and you play and you make these like fun little memories of like little adventures with your friends, that there will be this like bit of fire. I'm seeing a whole person, and I'm seeing just like one vein like turning to like this happy fire. I think it will give you an energy and a vitality that you didn't think that you had. Like, I think you'll be more playful and more fun the more you hang out with people. I think you'll get this little bit of fire energy, whereas right now you don't feel like you have like any fire energy at all. But fire is vitality and life. It's just like pure life force energy. And I think that if you get out there and you start playing and laughing, it's just gonna rewrite your entire like energy structure. You're gonna have a little bit of fire, and you're gonna sort of think of things in a different way. Like, maybe if you're really shy right now, that's okay. You could still go out, and even if you're quiet for a bit, once you get comfortable and once you really acclimate, I think that you'll be able to like banter with people and tease people, and that shyness will sort of go away because you'll have this little bit of fire in you. And that's our main message. I mean, it's one of the more straightforward ones we have. Like, doesn't seem like you have a relationship because you're not really taking the steps to meet people and to be in one. And your main advice is to get out your door, do things that interest you, meet people, laugh with people, don't take things so seriously. Your guides are like, things aren't a big deal. If you meet someone and try to have a conversation with them and they just walk away, it's like, shake it off. It's like, it's okay. You're not going to get along with everyone. And I just feel like you're sort of sabotaging yourself because things feel really dire and they feel really serious. And your guides are like, just go laugh and play and be stupid. Like, they're saying, go do something silly and ridiculous, and it's just going to revitalize your whole energy system. And then eventually, once you're fun and full and whole and happy and healthy and laughing and having connections, then you can, then you'll be able to just naturally meet someone that you get along with and have fun with. So I hope that's all I have for you, and I hope this was helpful. Good luck and go have fun.